The blizzard hits on a Tuesday, the kind the news calls historic before it arrives. I'm alone in the house, have been since September when Diane took the dog and most of the furniture. The divorce papers came the week before Thanksgiving. Now it's January 16th, and I watch 7 feet of snow bury my car in under 6 hours. The power holds. I work from the kitchen table, laptop open to spreadsheets I'm not really processing. The house creaks differently in extreme cold, a sound like frozen wood contracting. Every few minutes I check the windows. Mrs. Chen's house sits directly across the street, maybe 40 yards away. Blue siding, white trim, a covered porch I helped her repair last spring. At 2:47 p.m. on day 1, I see her in the upstairs window. She's waving. I wave back, feeling the static charge between my palm and the cold glass. She's wearing something dark, a cardigan, maybe. Her hand moves in a steady arc, left to right, the same rhythm. I smile. We're both snowed in. At least I'm not the only one trapped. The street is completely impassable. The plows won't come until the storm breaks, and the Weather Channel says another 36 hours minimum. I eat canned soup for dinner, standing at the sink, watching the streetlights struggle through the white. Around 8 p.m., I noticed condensation forming on the inside of my windows in specific patterns. Not random, but in vertical streaks, like someone has run their fingers down the glass from the other side. Day 2. I wake to silence so complete it feels pressurized. The second-floor bedroom faces Mrs. Chen's house. At 2:47 p.m. exactly, I check my phone after, she's there again. Same window, same wave, same cardigan. The motion is identical to yesterday, the same metronomic sweep. I wave back, but something in my chest tightens. Her hand doesn't vary, not once. I spend the afternoon trying to focus on work, but I keep returning to the window. The condensation patterns have multiplied. Now they're on every window facing her house, always vertical, always evenly spaced. I wipe one clean with my sleeve, and the moisture is cold, much colder than it should be. Within minutes, the streaks return in the exact same positions. That night, I smell something floral and stale, like potpourri that's been sitting in a closed room for months. It comes in waves, strongest near the windows. I check the vents, the drains, under the sinks. Nothing. The smell fades around midnight, and I sleep poorly, dreaming of waving hands and static. Day 3. I'm at the kitchen table when 2:47 arrives. I've been watching the clock. Something compels me to go upstairs, to the bedroom window. She's there. Same position, same wave, same cardigan. But today I notice her face, or the absence of clear features. The distance in the light should let me see her expression, but there is only a pale oval. Her hand continues its arc, left to right, left to right. I don't wave back. I go downstairs and pull out binoculars from the hall closet, Diane's old bird-watching pair. Back at the bedroom window, I focus on Mrs. Chen's house. The lens takes time to adjust through the glare. When it clears, my breath catches. The window glass is dark. Not curtained, dark from the interior, as if the space behind it is utterly black. But she's still there. The figure, the waving hand, the dark cardigan. Except now, through magnification, I can see that the hand's movement is too smooth, too mechanical. And the cardigan isn't fabric. It's something else. Something with texture like wet bark or old leather. The binoculars slip. My hands are shaking. When I look again without them, she's just a normal silhouette, waving normally. I back away from the window. The floral smell returns, stronger now, and underneath it something chemical and sharp. My skin prickles with static. Every hair on my arms stand up. I call 911. The dispatcher is sympathetic but firm. No emergency services can move until the roads are clear, probably tomorrow. Is anyone injured? Is there immediate danger? I try to explain, my neighbor, something's wrong. She's been in the window for 3 days, the same position, it isn't right. But hearing myself say it out loud makes it sound crazy. She takes my address, says someone will do a wellness check as soon as possible. She asks if I'm alone. I say yes. She tells me to stay warm, stay inside. After dark, I force myself not to look. I close the curtains in every room facing the street, but the condensation patterns appear on the inside of the fabric now, darker, wet to the touch. And at some point, I'm not sure when, I realize I can hear something. A rhythmic creak, like weight shifting on old floorboards. It's not coming from my house. It's coming from across the street, through 40 yards of snow and frozen air. Day 4. I wake at dawn. The storm has stopped. Sunlight makes the snow almost blinding. I don't go near the windows until I've had coffee, until I've convinced myself that daylight changes things. At 9 a.m., I put on every layer I own and go outside. The cold is stunning, physically painful. My breath crystallizes instantly. I have a shovel and I start digging toward the street. The snow is dense, heavy. It takes an hour to tunnel 5 feet, but I keep going. I have to know. By noon, I've reached the street. By 1 p.m., I'm halfway across. My muscles scream, sweat freezes on my neck. At 2 p.m., I'm at her walkway. At 2:30, I'm at her porch steps. The front door is locked. I knock, no answer. I try the windows, all sealed. I go around back, wading through hip-deep drifts. The back door is locked too, but there's a small window into the basement. I brush away snow and peer in. The basement is empty, completely empty. No furniture, no boxes, no water heater, just concrete and shadows. I break the window with the shovel handle. The glass falls inward like a sound of wind chimes. I wait, breathing hard, listening. Nothing. I clear the frame and squeeze through, dropping onto the concrete floor. The smell hits me immediately. That same floral staleness, but concentrated, overwhelming. The basement stairs lead up to a kitchen. Empty. Counters bare. No refrigerator. The air is warmer than outside, but still cold, and I can see my breath. The floorboards are thick with dust. No footprints except the ones I'm making. I move through the first floor. Living room, empty. Dining room, empty. The dust is undisturbed. On the walls, I see squares of darker paint where pictures used to hang. I climb the stairs to the second floor. Each step announces me, the old wood groaning. The smell is stronger here. I pass a bathroom, fixtures gone, just pipes, and reach the bedroom at the front of the house. The door is closed. My hand hovers over the knob. The static charge is so strong, I see a blue spark jump between my fingers and the brass. I turn it. The room is bare except for one thing. In front of the window, someone has arranged a cardigan on a wire frame. The arms are positioned mid-wave, held by fishing line attached to the ceiling. The line is connected to a small battery-powered mechanism, the kind used in store displays. It's still moving, left to right, left to right. The battery compartment is corroded, leaking. That's the chemical smell. Behind the cardigan, taped to the window glass, is a photograph. Faded, old. A woman, Mrs. Chen, I think, though much younger, standing in this same room. She's waving at the camera. On the floor beneath the setup, someone has written in the dust, January 16th, today's date. The mechanism continues its motion. I back away, then turn and run. Through the house, down the stairs, out through the basement window. I don't stop until I'm back in my own house, door locked, every curtain closed. The police come the next day, after the plows. I tell them everything except the parts that sound insane.
They confirm what I found. The house has been vacant since October. Mrs. Chen moved to a care facility downstate. No one has been inside since. They find the mechanism, the photograph. They take my statement. They ask if I saw anyone else in the area. I say no. But that's not entirely true, because when they were walking through the house, documenting everything, I was watching from my bedroom window. And I saw something move in Mrs. Chen's attic, a shadow crossing from left to right, visible for just a moment through the small upper window I'd never paid attention to before. The officer noticed me staring and turned to look, but by then it was gone. It's March now, the snow has melted. I've started the process of selling the house. I work from coffee shops. I don't sleep in the bedroom anymore. I've stopped answering when people ask if I'm okay. 3 nights ago, I woke at 2:47 a.m. to my phone's glow. I hadn't set an alarm. When I looked at the screen, it showed a missed call from a number I didn't recognize. No voicemail, just a timestamp. 2:47 p.m., January 16th. Yesterday, I found condensation on my bathroom mirror, even though the room was cold and dry. Vertical streaks, evenly spaced, like fingers. Tonight I thought I heard it again, that rhythmic creak like weight shifting on old floorboards. When I went to check the windows, I stopped, because now I'm not certain it's coming from across the street. I think it might be coming from my attic.
The rescue coordinator calls Tuesday morning while I'm drinking coffee at our kitchen table. Rachel's alive. Found her in a pocket 18 hours after the slide, vitals stable, no visible injuries. I'm standing before he finishes the sentence, already reaching for my keys. Our apartment is small, 2 bedrooms in a 1960s building on Capitol Hill, neighbors close enough that we hear their television through the south wall. January rain streaks the windows. I drive to Harborview in 40 minutes, park illegally, don't care. She's sitting up in the ER bay when I push through the curtain. Same dark hair, same hands, same wedding ring. Her eyes track to me and she smiles. "Hey," she says, and it's her voice, exact pitch and warmth. The doctor is talking about hypothermia protocols, observation periods, remarkable luck. I'm not listening. I'm holding her hand. It feels room temperature, not cold, not warm, neutral. "Your breath," I say later, in the car. She's staring out the passenger window at the wet streets. It's not. I can see my own breath fogging slightly in the cold interior. Hers doesn't. She looks at me, quiet for 3 beats. "I'm fine, David." She sounds tired. We drive home. She walks upstairs steady, no shaking, no weakness. Sits on our bed and takes off her hospital socks. Her feet are pale, unmarked. That night, I wake at 3 a.m., and she's sitting in the armchair by the window, still wearing the same position as when I fell asleep. Exactly the same. Knees together, hands folded, head turned toward the glass. "Rach?" She blinks, shifts, looks at me. "Sorry, couldn't sleep." But I didn't hear the bed creak when she got up. I didn't hear the chair legs scrape. Our floor is old hardwood that announces every movement. Wednesday, she doesn't eat breakfast. I make eggs, toast, set a plate in front of her. She says thank you, moves it slightly to the left, doesn't touch it. I work from home, checking email in the living room. Twice I walk to the kitchen for water, and the plate hasn't moved. The third time I stand in the doorway watching. She's at the table, hands in her lap, staring at the refrigerator. She doesn't blink. I count to 60, not once. Thursday morning, I find the eggs in the trash, carefully wrapped in paper towel, unbroken, like she transferred them intact without eating. I check the other trash. 3 days of meals, pristine, hidden under newspapers and junk mail. "Are you feeling sick?" I ask. She's folding laundry in the bedroom.
She turns, holding one of my shirts. I'm fine. I step closer. This close, I should feel her warmth, the small heat signature of another body. There's nothing. I reach out slowly, touch her shoulder. Room temperature. Like furniture. You haven't eaten, I say. I have. I check the trash. She sets down the shirt. Her face doesn't change, but something in her posture shifts. Smaller. I'm recovering. Appetite's weird. Plausible. Reasonable. I want to believe it. Friday night, I test something. I'm reading on the couch. She's in the bedroom. I get up, stand in the hallway where she can't see me, count to 100. Then I step into the doorway. She's sitting on the bed, back to me, hands on her knees. I watch her peripheral vision. She hasn't registered me yet. She's completely motionless. No breathing movement in her shoulders, no small adjustments of weight. I watch for a full minute. Nothing. Rachel? She turns immediately, natural speed, smiles. Done reading? How long have you been sitting like that? Just sat down. But I've been in the hallway 3 minutes. Our bed creaks. I didn't hear it. Saturday, I stay awake. She goes to bed at 11, pulls the covers up, closes her eyes. I lie next to her, staring at the ceiling, listening. Hours pass. I never hear her breathe. At 4 a.m., I reach over, slowly, place my palm near her mouth. No air movement, no warmth. I pull my hand back. She doesn't react. Her chest isn't rising. I get up, walk to the bathroom, close the door, call my sister. She's not breathing. I whisper. She's been back 4 days and I've never seen her breathe. My sister is quiet. Then, David, you've been through trauma too. Maybe you should talk to someone. She means me. She thinks I'm breaking. Sunday morning, Rachel is making coffee. I watch from the bedroom door. She goes through every motion. Grounds in the filter, water in the reservoir, button pressed, but her movements are strange. Too smooth, like she's performing the sequence from memory instead of habit. She doesn't check if the pot is in place, doesn't adjust the temperature. The coffee maker gurgles, and she stands there, hands at her sides, face angled toward it, waiting. I walk into the kitchen. She immediately reaches for a mug, pours, hands it to me. Morning, she says. Her fingers brush mine. Still room temperature. I take the mug, and it's burning hot. My hand flinches back. Hers didn't. She held boiling ceramic and didn't react. Rachel, you need to see a doctor. I saw doctors. You're not eating. You're not... I can't say it. It sounds insane. She sets down the pot. I'm recovering. It takes time. Same explanation, same calm voice, but her eyes hold mine too long, too steady. Don't blink. Monday, I call Harborview. Ask for her attending physician. He's surprised she's not back for follow-up. 18 hours under snow, she should be monitored. Get her in today, he says. I tell Rachel. She nods, agrees, says she'll drive herself. I insist on going with her. She's quiet in the car. I park at the hospital. She opens her door. I'll meet you inside, she says. I need to make a call first. I wait in the lobby, 30 minutes. She doesn't come in. I go back outside. Our car is gone. She returns home at 7. Where were you? I'm standing when she walks in. She sets her keys on the counter. I went. They said I'm fine, just recovering. No paperwork, no discharge notes. Her coat isn't wet and it's been raining all day. Tuesday, I watch her constantly. She moves through the apartment doing normal things, folding towels, organizing mail, standing at the window. But only when I'm in the room. If I leave and come back quietly, she's frozen exactly where she was, midway through reaching for a book, hand extended, not moving. I step into view and she completes the motion smoothly, pulls the book down, opens it. I try to leave the apartment. Need groceries, need air. I get to the door and something stops me. The thought of her here alone. What she might do, what she might be when no one's looking.
Wednesday morning, there's a smell. Faint, chemical, like old pennies and something underneath. I trace it to the bedroom, to her side of the bed. I pull back the covers. The sheets are unmarked, but the smell is stronger. I check her pillow, clean. I check under the bed, nothing. But the smell persists, concentrated where she lies at night. Copper and something organic, starting to turn. I find myself standing in the bathroom, staring at the mirror, trying to remember the last time I saw her reflection. I walk to the bedroom. "Rachel, come here for a second." She appears in the doorway. I position myself so the dresser mirror catches both of us. I'm there, she's there, both visible. Relief floods through me, and I feel insane for checking. Thursday, I measure the food. Serve her a precise portion, memorize its position on the plate. Wait 3 hours, check. It's arranged differently. Fork marks the eggs, toast torn. But when I check the weight on our kitchen scale, it's identical. She's staging it. Friday, she speaks first. "You're watching me." I'm at the kitchen table, she's in the doorway. "You don't sleep. You follow me room to room. You're measuring things. You haven't eaten in 2 weeks. I eat. You don't breathe." Silence, long enough that my heart rate spikes. She steps into the kitchen. "I almost died under that snow, David. 18 hours. Maybe it changed things. Maybe I hold my breath without noticing now. Maybe I'm still adjusting." Her voice is calm, but her eyes are too focused, pinning me in place. "I want to help," I say. "Then stop watching." Saturday, I try. I work in the living room, let her move unseen, resist the urge to check. At noon, I walk to the kitchen. She's standing at the sink, back to me, holding a glass of water. Not drinking, just holding it, motionless. I count. 2 minutes. 3. Finally, I clear my throat. She turns, brings the glass to her lips, drinks, sets it down. "Lunch?" she asks. Sunday, I find the photographs, our wedding album. On the closet shelf, pages torn. Every photo with her face is scratched out. Precise, methodical destruction. Just her face. My face is intact. The backgrounds are intact. Just her features removed. I bring the album to the living room. "Did you do this?" She looks at it. Something crosses her face. Not quite recognition. "I don't remember that." "Our wedding?" "That," she points at the album, "being there." Monday morning, I wake and she's standing over the bed, directly over me, leaning down, face 12 inches from mine, staring. I jerk up and she doesn't move back. "What are you doing?" "Watching you sleep." "For how long?" "I don't know. A while." I get out of bed, move to the kitchen, make coffee with shaking hands. She follows. Stands in the doorway. "I need you to tell me what's wrong," I say. "I came back. That's what's wrong. I was supposed to stay there." The apartment is silent. Rain hits the windows. "What do you remember?" I ask. "From under the snow." She's quiet. Then, "It was dark and cold. And then it wasn't cold anymore. Something warm found me, held me, told me I could stay." She looks at me. "I should have stayed, David." "But you're here." "Something is here." I try the police Tuesday. Tell them my wife is acting strangely after a trauma. They ask if she's violent, if she's threatened anyone. No. Is she destroying property? Not exactly. They suggest counseling, trauma support groups. I try calling her sister. No answer. I try her best friend, Emma. "Rachel's been texting me," Emma says. "She sounds fine." I ask what the texts say. Just normal stuff. Work, weather, whatever. I check Rachel's phone Wednesday when she's in the shower. No texts to Emma. No texts to anyone since before the avalanche. I hear the water shut off. Quickly put the phone back. She comes out, wrapped in a towel, hair wet. Except it's not dripping. Not a single drop of water falls. The towel is barely damp.
like she stood under the spray, but it didn't touch her. Thursday, I pack a bag. Tell her I need a few days at my sister's. She nods. Okay. No protest, no questions. I get to the door. Her voice stops me. David. I turn. She's standing in the center of the living room. It's lonely here when you're watching. I don't go. Friday night, I dream of snow. Endless white, crushing pressure, unable to move or breathe. Something moving through the drifts toward me, something that knows my shape. I wake gasping. Rachel is beside me in bed, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. Did you feel that? She asks. Feel what? It's close now. Saturday morning, the smell is overwhelming. Fills the apartment, thick and organic. I check everywhere. Trash, drains, vents. Can't find the source. Rachel sits on the couch, unaffected. You don't smell that? I ask. Smell what? I open windows despite the cold. The smell doesn't fade. I realize it's coming from her. From her clothes, her hair, her skin. The smell of something that stopped being alive weeks ago, but hasn't fallen yet. Sunday, I search online. Buried alive, 18 hours survival rate. 0. No one survives that long without air. I find one case study. A climber in Nepal, presumed dead, brought down after 20 hours. Revived in the hospital, died 3 days later of complications. Brain death from oxygen deprivation. What if she died under the snow? I'm sitting at the computer when she appears behind me. I can see her reflection in the dark monitor. Find anything interesting? She asks. How did you survive? I don't know. The doctors said it was impossible, but I'm here. She puts her hand on my shoulder. Room temperature, like wood. I'm right here, David. Monday morning, I wake up and she's gone. No note. Her keys are here. Her phone. Her coat. I search the apartment. Check the stairs, the lobby, the street. I call her name. Nothing. I wait all day. She doesn't come back. Tuesday morning, I find her standing in the bathroom. She wasn't there 5 minutes ago. I checked. But now she's here, staring into the mirror. Where were you? I ask. I was here. All night? I don't leave. I look at the mirror. Her reflection is there. But when I watch closely, it's delayed. Half a second behind. She raises her hand. The reflection follows. Wednesday, I stop asking questions. She moves through the apartment. I move through the apartment. We occupy the same space. Sometimes I look at her and see my wife. Sometimes I look at her and see something wearing her face. Waiting. The temperature drops at night now. Our breath fogs. Mine. Not hers. Never hers. Thursday, I research the Cascades. Find forum posts about that section of mountain. Old posts, years back. Hikers report feeling watched, hearing voices in avalanche zones. 3 missing persons over a decade. One found months later, miles from where they vanished. They wouldn't say what happened. Committed suicide 6 weeks after rescue. Friday night, she sits beside me on the couch. We watch television in silence. A nature documentary. Animals hunting in deep snow. Do you remember what you said? About something warm finding you? Yes. What did it want? She turns to me. In the television's blue glow, her face looks hollow. To not be alone. And you made a deal. I don't remember making a deal, David. I remember being cold, then being held, then waking up in the hospital with people shining lights in my eyes. She pauses. But something came back with me. Something that knows our address now, knows our bed, knows how you smell when you sleep. The apartment is very quiet. In the unit above, footsteps cross the floor. Normal sounds. Living sounds. "Are you my wife?" I ask. She doesn't answer for a long time. Then, most of me is. Saturday, I wake to find her sitting at the kitchen table in the dark. 3 a.m. She's holding something. I turn on the light. It's her wedding ring. She's rolling it between her fingers over and over, like she's trying to remember what it means. She looks up. "I can feel it fading," she says. "The parts that are her. Every day a little less." "Then we'll figure it out. We'll find someone who can help." There's no help for this. She sets down the ring. "I died in that snow, David. What's sitting here is what crawled into the empty space." She stands, walks to the window, looks out at the dark street. "Sometimes I remember being Rachel, loving you, our wedding, making dinner, small things. But they're getting thinner. Soon they'll be gone, and I don't know what happens then." I should leave, pack the bag, call my sister, walk out. But I can't, because sometimes when light hits her a certain way, when she says my name in that exact tone, she is Rachel, or enough of her that I can't let go. Sunday morning, I make coffee. Pour 2 cups. Set one in front of her. She looks at it, looks at me, wraps both hands around the mug, doesn't drink, just holds it, performing the memory of warmth. We sit like that for a long time. The rain continues. The neighbor's television murmurs through the wall. Normal sounds from a normal morning. Except when I look away and look back, she hasn't moved at all, hasn't shifted weight, hasn't blinked. Still holding the mug in exactly the same position, millimeter perfect. And in the window behind her, something moves in the building across the street. 4th floor. A figure standing in an unlit room. Too far to see clearly, but I know it's watching. Has been watching, knows we're here. I look back at Rachel. She's staring at me now. "It brought friends," she says softly.
I come home at 7 in the morning when the city buses are just starting their routes, steam rising from the sewer grates along Hennepin. The building's brick holds cold like a battery. 3rd floor, southwest corner, Murphy bed against the radiator, kitchenette with a window that faces the alley. I've lived here 4 years. The couple below me moved out in December. The landlord says he's showing it, but I haven't heard footsteps. I work nights at the medical examiner's office. I know what cold does to tissue, how long degradation takes, the smell of deep freeze, and the smell of thaw. When I unlock my door that Tuesday morning, I set my keys in the blue dish, hang my coat on the hook, and stand in the kitchen running hot water over my hands until feeling returns. This is February in Minneapolis. This is routine. The smell starts on Thursday. Not rot. I'd recognize that. This is sharper, metallic and organic at once, like freezer burn, like the back corners of our storage units at work. I check the refrigerator, the garbage disposal, under the sink. I open the window and the cold air rushes in, but underneath it, the smell persists, faint and insistent. I tell myself it's the pipes, the building's old plumbing, something dead in the walls. I close the window and go to bed. Friday, I wake at 3 in the afternoon and the smell is stronger. I check my small freezer compartment, half empty, nothing leaking. I go downstairs in my slippers and knock on 2B, but nobody answers. The hallway is silent. When I come back up, I notice the service door at the end of my hall, the one that opens to the basement stairwell, the one that's supposed to stay locked because it leads to the shared freezer unit the landlord uses for storage. The door is closed, but not latched. The metal frame doesn't quite meet the strike plate. I push it open. The stairwell is dark, and the smell rises up like a hand. I should call the landlord. Instead, I flip the light switch, nothing, and use my phone's flashlight. The stairs descend in a tight spiral, the walls close enough to touch on both sides. I count 13 steps. At the bottom there's another door, this one wide open, and beyond it the basement freezer room, a concrete cube with a chest freezer against the far wall and exposed pipes running overhead. The freezer lid is up. My chest tightens. I make myself breathe through my mouth. The freezer is empty except for a dark stain at the bottom and a smell so strong it coats my throat. But that's not what stops me. On the concrete floor, in the space between the stairs and the freezer, there's a pool of water. Not a puddle, a pool, maybe 2 feet across, still wet, edges creeping toward the drain. And in the water, face down, a winter jacket. Dark blue, the kind with a synthetic shell. The back is soaked through. I don't touch it. I go back upstairs and call the landlord. He doesn't answer. I call the non-emergency line, and a dispatcher tells me someone will come by. I wait in my apartment with the door locked and watch the service door from my peephole. At some point, I fall asleep in the chair. When I wake, it's dark. My phone says 11 p.m. I have 6 missed calls from work. There's a voicemail from the responding officer. They checked the basement, found evidence of a leak from the overhead pipes. No jacket, no stain. Building manager confirmed the freezer hasn't been used in months. If I have further concerns, I can file a report. I go downstairs with a flashlight I keep for outages. The service door is latched now, actually latched, and when I try the handle, it doesn't budge. I press my ear to the metal and hear nothing. I go back upstairs and check every lock, every window. I call in sick to work for the first time in 2 years. Saturday, I sleep through the day and wake to a sound. Not loud. A scraping. Metal on metal, rhythmic and patient. It's coming from the hallway. I look through the peephole and see nothing, but the sound continues, slow and deliberate, like something being dragged. I watch for 5 minutes. The scraping stops. I open the door. The hallway's empty. The service door is open again, just an inch, and I can see the darkness of the stairwell beyond. On the floor in front of my door, there's a wet footprint. Just one. A boot tread, size that could be mine, could be anyone's. The water is already evaporating in the building's dry heat, but I can see the edges, the faint outline of sole and heel. I take a photo. I step over it and go back inside and deadbolt both locks.
Sunday. I find the receipt. It's on my kitchen counter, next to the blue dish where I keep my keys. I didn't put it there. It's from a burger place on Lake Street, dated 2 days ago, time-stamped 11:47 p.m. I've never been there. The paper is damp at the edges, slightly warped, like it's been wet and dried. I pick it up and smell it, and underneath the ink, there's that freezer burn smell again. Faint, but unmistakable. I call the restaurant. A teenager answers, and I ask if they have security footage. He says he doesn't know, asks if I want to order something. I hang up. I spread the receipt on my counter and photograph it from every angle. Then I get my laptop and search the name, Peter Nguyen, that I found in my notes from 3 weeks ago. Homeless male, 56, found in a snowbank off 35W, frozen approximately 6 weeks. Stomach contents, recent meal, partially digested, burger, fries. I assisted on the autopsy. I remember his hands, the way the ice had crystallized in the tissue. I remember my supervisor's confusion when the gastric analysis came back. Fresh food. Impossible. The receipt on my counter has the same timestamp variance we couldn't explain. The body was 6 weeks dead. The stomach was 2 days fresh. I look up and the service door at the end of the hall is open wide now. Both doors, the one to the stairwell and the one below, and I can see straight down into the basement from my apartment doorway. There's a light on down there now, a cold fluorescent flicker, and I can hear the sound of water running, a steady stream like a faucet left open, or a body thawing on a steel table. I close my door and push my bookshelf against it. Monday. I don't go to work. I call my supervisor and tell her I need time. She's understanding until I mention Peter Nguyen, until I ask about the other 2 bodies this month, the ones with the same timeline impossibility. She goes quiet. Then she tells me the files are under review. She tells me I should rest. I spend the day searching. News reports, missing persons, freeze patterns. There are stories, rumors mostly, about the winter of 2019, about people found in impossible states of preservation, about timelines that don't close. Nothing official, nothing confirmed. I find a blog post from someone who worked at the ME's office before me, dated 5 years ago. 3 paragraphs about a storage unit contamination, and then the blog goes silent. That night I hear footsteps in the apartment below me, the one that's supposed to be empty. Slow, deliberate, the weight and rhythm of someone pacing. I press my ear to the floor and listen. The steps move from the kitchen to the bedroom to the kitchen. They stop directly below where I'm crouched. Then I hear my own footsteps above me. I live on the top floor. I grab my phone and my keys and I leave. I go to a hotel near the airport and pay cash and lie awake watching the parking lot. In the morning, I go back. The landlord's truck is outside. He's in the hallway with a maintenance worker, both of them standing at the open service door, looking down. "Pipe burst," the landlord says when he sees me. "Flooded the basement. Didn't you hear it?" I tell him I was out. I ask about the freezer. He looks confused, says there's no freezer, just storage space, been empty for years. The maintenance worker is already heading down with a wet vac and a flashlight. I go into my apartment and check the counter. The receipt is gone. The bookshelf is back against the wall where it's always been. My bed is made, tight hospital corners, the way I never make it. On my pillow, there's a smell, faint and chemical, like the disinfectant we use on the steel tables at work. I don't sleep there anymore. I stay with a friend for a week, then find a sublet across town. I tell people the building had water damage. I don't tell them about the footprint I still see when I close my eyes, or the sound of metal scraping that I hear sometimes in parking garages. I don't tell them I checked the database and found 4 more cases this year, all frozen, all with fresh stomach contents, all with timestamps that don't resolve. Last week, I saw someone in a dark blue jacket standing at a bus stop near my old building. They had their back to me, hood up, shoulders hunched against the cold. When the bus came, they didn't get on. They just stood there, not moving, and I realized I couldn't see their breath in the air. I didn't look back.